WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, hello. It's Monday afternoon at 4:00, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We're always happy to have you with us just because we kind of like you and we think you kind of like us too. So thank you for being with us. Monday, Community Bell Show, and today we have special guests. You've heard him before, but he's always special when he comes on. Mr. Ken Scott, the president of Greater Detroit Realtors Association. Mr. Ken Scott, are you there?
Well, thank you.
There you are. There you are. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Scott.
I am.
We appreciate you
being here
on this lovely sunny Monday afternoon. First day of school,
it's a
everybody.
being
So
here.
anybody who didn't get their kids to school, make sure they get there tomorrow because today is first day. So if they didn't get there today, they have 1 day absence already. Thanks, Ken. We're glad to have you. You know, you had some homework from the last time you were here, so we got to see if you got your homework. Did you remember what your homework assignment was?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I
Uh-oh.
feel like I reverted back.
Did you don't remember your assignment? And you're gonna ask me, do you got
What was my assignment?
it? Your assignment was to come back and tell us about a couple of other ways that you might be able to show that you are credit worthy. And I don't remember the acronyms, but I'll find out for them. I'll have them for you in a minute. But in the meantime, while we're getting those acronyms, I want to do a shout out to Reverend Tillis Chapman, who is running to be president of the National Baptist Association. Ken and I attended an event for him on Friday. Was it Friday night? Yes, Friday evening.
Friday night.
Fabulous tent at the African American Museum. It was a great event. And Reverend Tillis Chapman is running to be president of the National Baptist Convention. Now, you know that Detroit is just historical in terms of having leaders of religious organizations. We've got Bishop Ellis, who is the leader of his group. We've got Bishop J. Drew Sheard, who is the leader of his group. So, it's just right that we have Pastor Chapman from the east side, Outer Drive, Galilee Baptist Church, be the president of the National Baptist Convention. So we're just praying for him and praying that those around the nation also recognize how powerful he is and how wonderful he is. So we're praying about that. Absolutely. The National Baptist, and we already have a president, a female president, Cynthia Smith, National Baptist Women, who's president. So we're good. We are good in Detroit now. And I'm going to say this, and I don't mean it to be bad, but with all these national leaders, why there's so much crime in Detroit? I'm going to leave it right there. So we're going to need to work on. We're going to need to work on that. We're going to need. Okay, now, your assignment was to find out if you are a part of a firm. If you use a firm and Afterpay, does that count towards your credit? Does using those give you a credit boost? A firm is one and Afterpay is the other. You've not heard of those, I see. You were supposed to do your homework. So you got to come back on the second Tuesday in October.
Oh, absolutely. I got to come back and do that one.
A firm and
come back and do that one.
A firm and after, right? Are you writing this down? A firm.
Hold on.
Okay. See, that's what happens.
Real quick.
That's what happens
when you don't write firm. AFFIRM.
IRM, yes. And the other one.
And what's the other one?
After, AFTER, Afterpay.
Afterpay.
Yes,
definitely have to check those out.
Check those, and that's when people buy items and they pay over time. I understand that you can do it on Amazon, and there's another one, the Roberts Furniture downtown, where you can give $40 down and take it with you, and people pay on a monthly or weekly basis, whatever they decide to do, and can that be used towards your credit?
Okay, interesting. I didn't know about those.
Until last 2 weeks ago when we asked you about them.
Exactly. All right. Those are nice to know.
Okay. So you will have the answer for us second Tuesday, or rather second Monday in October when you're back on the
Very
show.
much so.
It's Real Estate Monday, second Monday in October. So everybody, Real Estate Monday is the second Monday in October.
September.
And Ken will be there.
Okay.
Now, there's another one I understand called SNAP. I don't know what SNAP stands for, but SNAP is another program, SNAP. It's another program where you can pay over time. And the question is, do those payments go towards your credit worthiness?
Interesting. Okay. Taught me something. Okay.
All right. See?
All right.
Okay. Tell us what's going on with real estate today.
Well, the subject that I'd like to address today is the rehab loan. Most
Okay.
people don't take advantage of it. Um, Most people don't realize that you can not only purchase a home, but you can rehab a loan all within the same mortgage.
Okay.
And that's something that is very seldom utilized in our community.
Is it advertised a lot? I mean, people just don't know
It
about it.
has been in the past.
Okay.
It has been in the past, but at the same time, we had a supply chain issue when we had the COVID situation going on. So a lot of people weren't getting their materials on time, or contractors weren't getting their materials on time, and what have you. But at the same time, this is the way that if you find a home in one of your desirable communities, whether it be Detroit or outside of the city of Detroit and other communities, you can utilize that in order to bring up, not only buy the home, but bring up the value of the home by putting things in place such as a roof, windows, doors, floors, kitchens, bathrooms, what have you.
Can it be used for outside work like driveways and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
your
It can
step?
be used for tree removal.
Okay.
But at the same time, if the home is not meeting FHA standards or building standards of the city of Detroit or whatever municipality that the home is in, then you can utilize that in order to bring up the occupancy code or the building code of that particular home.
Oh,
Um, Unfortunately, like I said, it's not utilized as much as it should be. And I've had clients that looked at homes that were in the Bagley community, Rosedale Park, Indian Village, and what have you, that simply did not realize that the rehab loan could be utilized in their particular area. And not only that, they could bypass some of the investor homes where they say they move in and what have you. You can do the hire the construction company or the rehab company in order to do the work on the home, and still at the end of the process have equity in within the home.
okay.
So there's a margin there that will allow you to buy the home, rehab the home, do whatever you want to do in the home in order to bring it up to code first and foremost. Then you bring it up to cosmetics, and that home is basically move-in ready, and probably better than some of the homes that have been move-in ready by investors.
Okay. So let me try to make sure. So I want to buy a house,
Hmm.
and the house I want to buy may well, I have a house in a neighborhood that I want, but the
In
house
the neighborhood you want to live in,
doesn't look as good as I want it to look. So it might need a roof,
I call it the ugly house.
the ugly house. Now, I can get a mortgage on that home, or
Yep.
do I get the mortgage first, or do I get the rehab loan first?
First and foremost, you find out whether you can be mortgage approved,
Okay.
and then you find out from the value of the home or the asking price of the home that's asked now, and the aftermarket rehab value of the home, if there's enough margin in there in order to bring it up to code, and then if it's enough margin to bring the cosmetics up, such as a kitchen, a bathroom, what have you.
Okay.
But the primary goal is to correct any exterior features like the roof, the tuck pointing, what have you. Then you go into the windows. Then you go into the furnace, the hot water tank, or whatever the case may be, the plumbing, the electricity, and if all those criteria are being met, then you can go into the cosmetics, such as the bathroom, such as the kitchen, such as a finished basement, even uh, anything else beyond that point.
Okay. I still need some more clarity on this now.
Okay.
I find the house.
Hmm.
Do I get a mortgage on the house first, or do I get the rehab loan first?
First, you find out how much you've been approved for.
Okay. So
Okay, so let's go through an example.
Okay.
You find a home that's presently on the market. It's not up to code. Usually, it's anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 less, maybe even less than that. But at the same time, say a home is on the market for about $60,000, but it's in a neighborhood that's going for $100,000, with it being finished product. Okay, with all the bells and whistles in it, it's going for 100. So basically, you can negotiate down and create even more equity after the rehab value. But at the same time, say you start off at the 60. You're approved for 100, but you get this house for 60.
Okay.
It only needs about $30,000 worth of work.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that the plumbing, the electricity, or the electrical panel, and the plumbing, electricity, and the heating, ventilation, and cooling, whether it be boiler or whether it be a furnace, are up to date.
Okay.
The roof is already in good shape, so you don't have to worry about that. But at the same time, you're not satisfied with the kitchen. It's an older style kitchen, ceramic tiles, the old ceramic yellow block tiles that they used to put on the kitchen sink or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Old wood cabinets, and you got shag carpet in the living room, and you got wallpaper on the walls and what have you.
Leave that wallpaper alone.
Take that wallpaper down and remove that shag carpet, okay? But at the same time, you want to bring. The next thing we'll be talking about is the plastic on the furniture, okay?
Well,
right, but
I remember.
Yeah, I do too.
My mother had the best plastic on the furniture you could.
And thank God it was a distant memory, okay? Okay. But at the same time, you want to remove the wallpaper. You want to have hardwood floors. You want a nice granite countertop in your kitchen and possibly your bathroom, a backsplash. You want new appliances and what have you. All of that within that $40,000 could possibly be yours.
Okay.
Provided you go through the mechanics first. The plumbing, the electricity, and the heating, ventilation, and cooling. If you satisfy those and the house is structurally sound, then you can go into the bathroom and the kitchen.
Okay.
And make that all that you want it to be. Say the improvements were only worth $30,000. That's materials and labor. But you approve for 100.
Okay.
Okay. You don't have to spend that 100.
Okay.
Or you can add to what needs to be done and remove that tree in the background, in the backyard.
Okay.
That takes up to that $40,000 and what have you. Not only are you moving into a home that's refurbished and move-in ready and what have you, now it's to your liking as opposed to an investor's liking that you had prior to that.
Okay.
Now you're comfortable in the home that you purchased in the neighborhood that you desired.
Okay. And I'm up to my $100,000, so I'm good. I didn't go over my $100,000.
You go over your budget and everything.
And I still have the home that I want.
This is the other thing. Say after all that work has been completed, the appraiser comes back and he looks at the property, and with all that you've done to it to bring it up to code and to bring up to cosmetics, you get the house appraised for $120,000, $130,000, $140,000.
Okay.
That means you have that much equity after the rehab value.
That's a pretty good deal, isn't it?
It's an excellent deal because keep in mind that you bought the ugly house, the house that no one else was looking at. Everybody else was bypassing it because it wasn't up to their standards. It wasn't move-in ready, and it wasn't rehabbed by an investor who wanted to have the highest and best asking price or price for the home. So In essence, what you're doing is bypassing the investor, buying a home at its lowest margin, putting what you desire to be in that house, and then realizing that the equity in the home far surpasses anything that the investor would have done, because you're going for top dollar on the investor home, where you're going bottom up from the home that you desire in the neighborhood with an ugly house that you purchased.
Sounds like a good deal, but do people don't know that.
People don't know that, but
People
at the
don't
same
know
time,
how to do that. And that's why you're so important in terms of being able to share that information with large groups of people who need a home and don't know how to do it.
and keep in mind, this is not information that's hard to find. However, it can be hard to find laborers that can make the house what you want it to be, or you have to price the materials to make sure that the prices and the materials as well as the labor fit within those guidelines, that $40,000.
But you said it's not hard to find. It's hard to find if you don't know what to ask.
I agree with that. I agree with that
If you
wholeheartedly.
don't know the question, then you'll never find it because you don't know what to ask to get to the end product. And so
Yeah.
that's what you need to do, is to have some more classes for people and go through that same scenario you just through with me.
You know the crazy thing about that though?
What?
When we offer these free workshops, no one shows up or very few show up. And this is to their benefit. How to redevelop a neighborhood by putting homes in it that meet the building code
Mm-hmm.
and stabilizing the community that it's in.
Okay.
We want to stabilize the communities, but
Absolutely.
at the same time, the 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 last thing a person is looking for is the ugly house.
Mm-hmm.
They don't find any value in it. Matter of fact, I can tell you right now that there are about 500 homes in, say, 4 zip codes that only have one full bath in the home.
Are we going back to that?
Oh yeah, we're going back to the bath. Okay, but at the same time, hold on. We're not going that way no more.
That
We're
is
not
not
going
a
that direction no more.
point that they only have one bathroom.
We're not going that direction no more. All right, but at the same time, you got 2 or 3 people in the home.
How about 4?
Well, 4.
How about 5?
Why not add a half bath in the basement? See, that's why the FHA 203K or renovation loans from Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac are so in need in the Detroit area, because the housing stock has so deteriorated that you need someone to bring it up to code.
That's true.
Okay, and you can't really say that, hey, we don't have the wherewithal to do this. We do have the wherewithal to do it. It's a matter of a person being receptive to doing it and being approved to do it. Because if you're approved for that $100,000 and you can buy that home at $60,000 and put $40,000 in it to make it $100,000, and then have equity over and beyond that, then wouldn't you consider that to be a nice buy?
Absolutely, absolutely. But let me just say, and you mentioned earlier that the home seminars are going on, but you're not getting a lot of people.
I did a seminar this weekend.
That's where we have to start.
I did a seminar this weekend,
mm-hmm.
Okay, for a specific neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
This was just on credit alone. Had the facility reserved and everything. You know, no one showed up.
Mm-hmm.
No one.
Mm-hmm.
Not one person. It was just me and the administrator of the building.
Who did you market it to, and how did you market it?
Social media. We had emails, addresses of various members in the community that knew where the center was, that they lived around the perimeter of the facility and didn't come.
I'm not going to chastise those people for that, because you said social media. Okay.
No, no, no. I'm discounting social media because social media is not the wherewithal
No, it is not. That's just
for
what I'm going to
marketing.
say. Social media is not the place that you want to. You need some flyers. You need somebody standing outside the local grocery store, giving it to them in their hand and
No,
saying to them,
and
"You want to buy a house? Come, let me show you how to get one."
okay, all right. We're gonna do that before the next show. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And I'll come and hand out a couple of flyers. I won't stand
Okay.
a long
All
time,
right.
but I'll be there for a little while to hand out some flyers and say to people, you want to buy a house? This guy is going to help you buy a house.
Exactly.
And it's not going to cost as much as you thought it was going to cost, because I think people are listening to all of these reports and say, oh my gosh, the interest rates are going up. You're going to have to pay X number of dollars more than you would have had to have paid a year or two ago. And I think that's scaring people away from it. I really do. And so
I know it is. I know it is.
and we
But at
need
the
to find
same
a way
time,
to make them, to help them understand, give them the information. Information is power. Give them the information that says, I know you're listening to all
it's
those
power to the
commercials.
right person.
Don't listen to them. Come listen to me. Let me tell you how you can get this house. And okay, so let's say this person buys this house for $60,000 and gets the rehab loan for $40,000, so the total of $100,000.
Mhm.
How much are they going to have to pay for their mortgage note?
Okay, this is the crazy thing. If you had asked me before March 30th, I would have said they're gonna pay the interest rate that's available now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But March 30th, the city of Detroit came out with a $25,000 down payment assistance program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Two things about that program. First and foremost, that you can utilize it in order to buy down the principal or the cost of the home, and you can use it to buy down the interest rate.
Okay, you stop right there. Tell people what you mean. So the house is $60,000. The city has $25,000 amount. So that means that the house is going to be $35,000. Is that right?
Say that one more time.
The house costs $60,000.
Mm-hmm.
The city is going to give you $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the house is really going to cost $35,000, right?
No, what you're going on is the fact that we're talking about the before rehab value and the after rehab value. The after rehab value is 100.
Okay.
That's with everything included.
So the house
that means you're acquiring the property and you're rehabbing the property all for $100,000.
And so the $25,000 that the city is going to give me, what happens to that? Does that subtract it from 100,000?
It is applied to the closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
It's applied to the cost of the home, and it's applied to the interest rate, whichever one or however many factors it can be utilized for.
Okay.
But say it's like this. Say with closing costs and the price of the home, you're up to 114, 120.
Okay.
Okay. So your home is only costing you 95.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that's what people need to hear. They need to hear the real numbers, because you're saying it's 60,000, it's 100,000, then you get 25,000, but then there's closing costs. They need to be in the neighborhood of what the real number is.
But you realize that most people that have bought a home, if those things applied, they still wouldn't understand. They were just going for buying a home.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't knowledgeable enough to find out where the dollars went or how the down payment assistance or the closing cost assistance affected their bottom line.
Absolutely.
Okay, that will never be explained fully to a person that has already bought a home. That person says, "Hey,
people who have never bought a home, though." We're talking about people who have never bought a home, aren't we?
No. I'm talking about people that have bought a home didn't understand that.
Oh, I agree with that. But I'm talking about the people who were coming to seminars have never bought a home.
Right.
They don't understand any of that of what you just said. So what they're looking for is, okay, tell me what the bottom line is. How much is this really going to cost me, and how much is my note going to be? Period. That's what I want to know. You don't have to be exact, but ballpark. What am I talking about? Am I talking about, okay, $100,000, and my note's going to be $958.60,
Okay.
whatever that is?
That's supposed to be explained at the beginning when they apply for the mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end when they have been approved for the mortgage.
I agree with that, but
Okay, but I want to tell you, that's not even the issue. The issue is they told you, but did you understand it?
Okay, back up a minute. What people want to know is, how much does a house cost and how much is my note going to be? And it doesn't have to be exact, but in the ballpark. So my note's going to be maybe about $800 or $900 a month.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
can deal with
that's including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance.
that. Whatever it is that my note, whatever I got to pay, that's what it's going to be.
Absolutely.
I can deal with that. And I'm
And
talking
whether you can afford it or not.
Yeah. And we have already established that I can afford it because I'm about to be approved for this. But I still don't think people understand what they are getting into, and that they can buy a house for what they're renting for.
Not only that, it's
I guess, and they don't have responsibility either. I buy this house.
Yeah.
Somebody else got the responsibility of the taxes and making sure that the house is maintained.
right.
And on that point, if you live there, you need to be sure that the house is being maintained. But that's another story for another time.
Like Larry said, there are some people that don't want the responsibility of buying a home.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, those are the individuals that most impacted by not buying a home.
Yes.
Because there are homes on the market right now that are being rented out from $1,200 to $1,800 to maybe higher in the suburbs, or maybe more affluent areas.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, and you can buy that same home somewhere else, or a home with a reduced amount, then you're getting it for a lot cheaper as a mortgage than you would as a rental.
Yeah, and you have an asset. I mean, you can take that house to
And
the
you
bank.
have equity, and you can do whatever you want.
That's
Like
right.
Larry stated, you can do whatever you want it.
That's right.
But at the same time, you'll never know these things
Unless you come to a home buyer seminar.
I'm telling you.
We've got to get them to the home buyer seminar.
And the statistics weigh out that 30%, if not more, of the people that attended those home buying classes stayed in those homes longer.
Okay.
Because they understood what they were facing financially, emotionally, mentally, whatever the case may be, before they purchased the home.
It makes a difference.
It does.
It makes a difference.
It makes a tremendous difference.
Now let me tell. Where were you?
Larry said, "Wake up, people! Come on!"
I love it. Where were you this weekend when nobody showed up? Can I ask that?
Where was I?
Yeah, when nobody showed up to the home buyer seminar you had, and nobody showed up.
I don't want to say.
You don't want to say. Okay.
I don't want to say.
Wherever you were,
I hope.
Wherever you were, let's do another one in that same location. And let me come help pass out some flyers, because I really think that people need to hear somebody say it.
Absolutely.
Come to this home buyer seminar. You want to buy a house? Are you renting?
Exactly.
You want to buy a house? You want to live in your own place?
You know what?
Let me help you do that.
This, to me, this is the only way to counteract that. You almost have to go door to door.
Yeah.
In a highly rented, concentrated area.
Mm-hmm.
To let them know what the possibilities are beyond that, beyond where they are.
Yeah.
And like the saying says, meet people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to their front door and tell them about.
I'm not sure I'm going to their front door. I'm not sure I'm going to go to the front door.
I'm not going to the side or the back either.
I'm not going to the door at all. But I will go stand outside the party store. outside. I will stand outside there.
But understand this.
I'll
That
say that.
also, let me also say this: that has to be a party store or a liquor store in a really populated area.
And what they are, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
So, you know, we will have, we
All right,
won't have hard
all right,
time finding one.
all right. So you gonna do this again?
Yeah. Yes.
I agree with you, Teresa. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Uh-huh.
You ready for 11 years?
Before she bought
I
her
agree with
house.
you.
Teresa,
It
thank
is
you,
worth it,
Teresa.
huh?
I was just saying thank you, Teresa.
Yeah.
And
See,
that's important.
and before, I mean, you understand that you can pay down on that home, but it's yours. It's no one else's.
That's right.
It's yours.
Nothing like having your own.
Exactly.
God,
Exactly.
God bless the child that's got its own.
I
That's
mean,
it.
I am getting too ready right now that I want to list and everything because I know that there is such a shortage of homes out there. And once I get them ready and everything, I'm going to sell them to primary homeowners, people that want to live in them, that want to stabilize the community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It would be a disservice to sell it to an investor or a corporation or hedge fund manager when you know that Black home ownership is going down in our respective communities.
Yes.
I understand why you might want the cash and everything right off the bat, but you can get the same end result if you sell it with a mortgage.
Absolutely.
Give it to somebody that's going to have a vested interest in the community, that's
And
going to send their kids to the school in the community,
yes.
not
Absolutely.
to a person that could care less about the community. They just there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm gonna take you up on the flyer thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you up on the flyer
Okay.
thing.
You get
And,
it.
and next time we're gonna post pictures of us being on the street corner in front of the liquor store, passing out flyers about home ownership.
That's right. I'm there, and we're gonna see what happens. Because I firmly believe people need to see somebody that is recognizable, and have somebody say to them, "You do you rent? Yeah. Well, don't you want to own your own home? Come, come to this event, and let me show you how you can own your own home."
Absolutely. I mean, in the many ways that you can do it,
Mm-hmm.
many ways you can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you don't have to be
Absolutely.
stressed out about it. But at the same time, realize that in a lot of cases, your mortgage is going to be less than the rent that you're paying presently.
Yes. Yes. I think, and that's the piece I think that people need to hear. But going back to what Larry said, people don't want the responsibility, but we need to help them understand that it really isn't the kind of responsibility that you think it is. It really isn't all that bad, because I think sometimes the people that they're renting from make them think, oh boy, this is really something, owning this house. I got to do this. I
Okay,
got to do
well,
that.
let's go through that scenario real quick. You're paying rent anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Your mortgage could be less than your rent.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're paying, say you're paying $1,500, your mortgage note is probably around $800 to $900. You're saving $600. You can pay the utilities.
Mm-hmm.
You can save the rest.
You have a grass cut.
You can
Snow
have cookout or whatever the case may be, wherever.
Yes.
Your kids can go to the school in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to worry about going from one location to another location to another location. And it's yours.
That's the key.
And not only that, when you're paying rent, you're investing in someone else's dream.
Yes.
Okay, you're paying them constantly and constantly, but you're not receiving a benefit other than living there.
Yeah.
But if you pay into a mortgage, your mortgage, when it's paid down, you get equity.
Yes.
Meaning it's worth more now than when you bought it.
And you don't have to pay as many taxes. You get tax write-off for owning your own home.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are the landlord that you were renting from didn't pay the taxes either.
Exactly. So you're gonna have to move in a minute because he didn't pay the taxes and about to be
Exactly.
foreclosed on
Exactly.
anyway.
So, I mean, it's a win-win situation.
Yes. Yes.
Let's show you. Let us show you how to win.
Exactly. And sometimes, and I hate to say it, people have to have an incentive to come. And I know owning your own home is not quite an incentive, but maybe we'll give them a $5 gas card.
I don't know. I don't even know if that'll work.
Well, we'll see.
I think
I'll give you a $5 gas card.
Okay.
That'll be the prize for showing up.
If your motivation is not there, if it's not ingrained in you, and keep in mind that we have generational renters in our community.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
people that have never owned a home from generation to generation to generation to generation.
And that's
why they have not owned a home.
They don't know.
They have not owned a home since slavery.
They don't know. That's the issue. Information is power. They just don't know. And our job.
I don't think you heard me though.
No, I heard you.
They have not owned a home
ever
since slavery.
Ever. They have never owned a home. I know. I agree.
But they are enslaved.
I agree. They've never owned a home. They don't know what it is to own a home. All they know is renting. Well, that's what we've got to do, is help them understand the benefits of owning a home. There are some specific benefits to owning a home. Homeowners are in charge. If they didn't know that, homeowners can make some decisions. If you rent, you can't make any decisions.
Not at all.
So
Larry and Teresa, we want y'all on the corner with us handing out flyers.
Now, I can't speak for Larry and Teresa. They probably said, "Wait a minute, she didn't speak for us." She said she was.
All right, but listen, here's my phone number. Call me. If you wanna take another party store, we'll give you the flyers. The phone number is 313-819-7065. That's 313-819-7065. You take a party store, we'll take a party store, and we'll get some people in some houses. How about that?
So we're gonna have to. We're gonna do this. I think it'll work.
Okay.
We're gonna get some people there.
Right.
As a matter of fact, not only the party store, school's in. We can stand outside of school.
No doubt. Yeah, they are back in session.
They're back in school. They are back in school.
All right, Larry.
Larry said
not my number.
Okay. Larry said he'll help.
The show is over at 5:00. 5:01. I want my phone to ring.
Larry said he'll help. So you just get the flyers ready, Ken.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have some people. We're gonna have some people at the next one.
All right. We're gonna do that.
We're gonna have some people at the next one.
We're gonna do that.
Okay. All right. That'll be a wonderful thing.
But the seminar, okay. the seminar Saturday was based on getting your credit together, period.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching them how your credit is established, how it's what percentages of your credit score are important, how to access your credit report, how to pay off debt, and how to improve your credit score to the point where it positions you to buy a home.
With all due respect,
anything else that you want to buy.
With all due respect, Ken, nobody's coming to a seminar that sounds like that.
No. Understand this though.
They're not coming. When you tell them you're gonna fix my credit now, but they will come if you're gonna help me buy a house. And while we talk about buying a house, then we'll talk about
believe me, buying a home is the carrot.
Yep.
Is the carrot.
Yep.
But at the same time, you have to like the taste of the carrot.
You've got to get them in the door.
You got to like it.
Get them in the door, and then we can
get you in the door.
We get them in the door, then we can talk about that.
All right, with the 4 of us or the 3 of us, me, you, and Larry, we're gonna make this work.
We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it. We'll be able to report back saying, "Guess what we did, everybody? We sold. Exactly. We got somebody to buy a house. They're not renting anymore."
Take pictures and air them on the Community Bell Show with Edna Bell.
That's right. That's right.
This is what happens when you want to get educated.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
Thank you so much, Ken. I appreciate you so much. You're always bringing good information. Next time, we will talk more about this, and we'll talk about it after we do our seminar. We get all those people in the room. Okay.
Absolutely. And not only that, I like your idea about the schools too.
The schools, yeah.
Because that was going to be my next area of concentration.
That will do it. Because Liberty Bank has things for people who are in Detroit public school system, $15,000. We can tell them about that too.
No, 20,000.
20,000 now. Okay.
20,000. Wait, 20. It's 15,000 for the consumer.
Okay.
But it's 20,000 for DPS CD employees.
Oh, I love it. Well, we got good information for people. Thank you, Ken, so much. As always, you always bring us good information. Thank you. I'll see you on the corner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Have a good week.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Community Bell Show. Our guest, Mr. Ken Scott, president of the Detroit Area Real Estate Realtors.
Greater Detroit Realtors.
Greater Detroit Realtors Association. And also the owner of
CSW Real Estate.
CSW Real Estate. Candler, Scott, and Wallace Real Estate.
Correct.
819-7065. Give them a call. Thank you so much, Ken. We'll talk to you next time. Thank everybody for being with us on the Community
Everyone
Bell
have a great evening.
You too. We'll see you next week, 4 o'clock. Community Bell Show. Don't miss it.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.